You're saying to refinance a 30-year loan to go to a 15-year loan is not a good idea or not a wise decision? Am I understanding that correctly?
All right. So here's what I'm saying. I didn't mention that, but I'm glad you did. Never, ever, 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 ever get a 15-year loan. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Okay. Get a 30-year loan and pay it off in 7. So what we're talking about, folks, is if you get a 15-year loan, okay, your payment is a lot higher. And for some reason, your finances turn against you somehow and you need that extra money. Well, listen, now you're stuck with that higher payment. But here's what I need people to know. You don't need permission to make a 15-year payment. Did you know, April, that you can have a 30-year loan and just go on an amortization calculator online and figure out what the 15-year payment would be, and then just start making the 15-year payment while you still have your 30-year loan? You don't need permission to have a 15-year mortgage. Did you know that?
No, I did not.
Is that good news to you that you don't have to refinance to get a 15-year loan? You can just start making the 15-year payment?
Well, yes, yes and no, because I just refinanced.
Oh,
30 year, went from a 30-year to a 15-year, and yes, it did cost me a lot, but my husband and I are actually on a plan to pay it off in 7 years.
okay. So here's what we're talking about, Miss April. When you pay extra on the loan, okay, what you're doing is you're just not paying off the loan. You are saving interest. That is what keeps you in long-term debt. Wouldn't you say that to be true?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So you and your husband have a plan. So the plan would include putting a particular amount of money on principal over and above the loan payment, correct?
Yes, and actually we just refinanced in May and we've already taken off. It was 180 months and we're down to 169. So we're on track to pay this off well before the 15 years.
Exactly. So here's my point. When you put that extra money on, do you know how much interest you just saved?
No, not off the top of my head.
That would be very important because how amortization works, you can maximize the amount of interest saved with $1 so that you're getting the biggest bang for your buck if you move the right amount of money in the right month on the right day of the month so that you can maximize the amount of interest you're saving per dollar applied. So you could be out of debt, like you said, in 7 years, but if we're not careful, you could pay $5,000 to $10,000 more in interest than you need to pay. Most people think that by doing anything to put money on my loan is as good as any other thing that I could do. And it's not. You want to do an exact amount to kill the maximum amount of interest. And besides that, there is a point at which you can put too much money on the loan at the wrong time and lower the amount of interest you're saving per dollar. These are the kinds of things that we bring to the forefront because everything you do, Miss April, everything else you do according to how much you're paying in unit cost. Unit cost is important in everything. Okay. So do you want to pay $6 a gallon for gas?
Absolutely not.
No. Do you like grapes? Because I like grapes.
Yes, I do.
Okay. If grapes are $8 a pound this week, are you guys buying grapes this week?
I'm not. No.
She said, I don't like them that much. So here's what I'm saying. If by knowing what to do, when you're putting a certain amount of money on your debt, if you could save $4 in interest for every dollar applied, is there any reason that you would want to accept $3 in interest saved for every dollar applied?
No.
That's what the P.I.L.L method brings to the forefront. We drill down and get you to the point where you're saving the maximum amount of interest per dollar applied. And guess what? If the bank receives all the interest that you're looking for or all the extra interest that you did not have to pay, what is the bank going to do with that interest money?
I assume invest that interest money.
Exactly. But what if you don't have to pay that money? What if you could save several $1,000s in interest you don't have to pay? What could you do with that interest money?
Invest that money.
I get so excited when I hear that. So that's what we're talking about, Miss April. That's what we're talking about. So are you thinking about doing any real estate investing at all?
Absolutely. My family and I are actually putting something together now to absolutely do that. And
Okay.
I thank you for the information.
Well, you are so welcome. So when you start this project, here's what you want to do. You want to make sure that you get 30-year loans or 40-year loans, 30 or 40. Okay. And then we can show you how you can gain equity 5 or 6 times faster on those loans so that you can cash out refi within 5 to 7 years instead of the average 15 to 17 years when real estate investors said, okay, when can I take money out to start building my portfolio? You could do it in 5 to 7 years instead of 15 to 17 years at a much lower interest cost. And guess what? You do not have to use the monies that you've earmarked out of the rents received that you've earmarked to put into investments right away. That money won't be touched. We're going to show you how by not touching that money, you're still able to gain equity 5 times faster and pull money out to reinvest years sooner and with a much lower interest cost. We would love to show you how all of that works right here at the P.I.L.L method.
Thank you so very much. I absolutely appreciate the plethora of information that you've given me. We do have one investment property, but I do want to hopefully get with you to see how we can gain more properties is what we're trying to do right now.
Ooh, amen, amen, amen. So listen, you want to go to ice10k.com and then you will click on the buttons there and you will be able to get a savings and earnings report. And then by doing that, you can know not only how you could pay off your loans cheaper and faster, but we can also get a report that would show you how it makes sense to advance monies to the loan so you get equity faster at a much lower interest cost. And then if we are diligent, because we track the interest cost, we track the interest saved as well. So when we know that you're going to save $100,000 in interest that you would have paid normally on these loans, now we can show you how to take that money that you would have paid in interest, that 100,000, and reinvest it in your family's bottom line and to grow your net worth with monies that previously were earmarked to go to the bank. How does that sound to you?
Absolutely fantastic. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much.
You are so welcome.
But Don has some valuable information that can contribute to the quality of a person's life. And it only costs you a few dollars. It's his book. Why not get that?
I'm going to go through the P.I.L.L method myself with some of my investment properties. So I'm going to link up with Don, and then I'm going to sit down with him, show him my investment portfolio, and see how I can eliminate interest.